Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 29 of All the Mods 3 Expert Mode. Today we are going to make UU Matter. So the quest, we're in tier 5 already. We have to make 8 UU Matter. To do so we need a mass fab, a recycler. I'll probably make the good recycler, not the slag, not that one, the compacting recycler. This is the one that, it runs faster if you give it a redstone signal. And then we'll use that UU matter to craft things because, well, I guess I can't view its recipe there, but it's used in a lot of future crafting recipes. Right, Sonarium, which we need perhaps for solars, higher tier energy conduits or something. But I think most immediately, oh cool, it's an easy way to do osmium. That's actually easier than what I had planned for making osmium. But making the large bloodstone tiles for upgrading our blood altar to tier 4 so that we can like automate it instead of having to go kill mobs on it. Anyways, plenty of reason we need it. What's this? I guess it's part of the it's very end game. All right. So step 1 then is to make the UU matter, or the fabricator and the recycler. That doesn't look all too bad. In fact, I have everything to make the mass fabricator in my system already. I just have to craft it. I think we'll be less lucky with the recycler. Yeah, oh well. This should only take a minute. Now, it's theoretically possible to run the mass fabricator on this energy line I have right now, which is a LV line. In fact, I'm running MV machines on them, but it won't run at very high speed. So if I put this here, there's a non-zero chance it explodes, but I'm pretty sure it won't. I did not test this. Aha, would you look at that? It didn't explode. You see that it's not making any progress. It won't make any progress at all unless you feed it scrap, which apparently I have one piece of. But you see when you put scrap in it, it gives some amplifier and it turns into progress. But what I can do then is, let's see, to make scrap I need to put, I think it's any item. So we'll just scrap a bunch of, I don't know, cobble or something. I apparently have remarkably little of that. But you put scrap in the recycler, it eats it pretty quickly. And every now and then it spits out a piece of scrap. But you see every piece of scrap produces 0.2% of progress. Also, there's a configuration option set such that you cannot make any progress at all if you don't have scrap. By default, you can like make progress slowly without scrap, but in this pack specifically, you must have scrap. Anyways, if we give the mass fabricator more power, it does not make it any more scrap efficient, but it does make it faster, so it'll eat through the scrap faster. However, each piece of scrap still only produces the exact same amount of progress. Anyways, this machine being a HV machine, you see when I hit shift and look at it, it says max input 512 EU. That means we want to provide it, we want to power it on an HV line, probably, not a LV line. The machine will accept as many energy packets per tick as you give it. So when it says like max input 512 EU, that's max 512 EU per packet. While it's sitting here, it's actually receiving 4 packets a tick of 32 EU, or yeah, of 32, right? We have MV128 being split 4 ways, but since all four packets only have one destination, I mean, I suppose some of them go to that recycler periodically, but it's actually receiving about 128 EU a tick. What I'm saying is we can actually go over 512 EU by supplying it multiple packets a tick, if that makes any sense. Anyways, I'm going to pick it up for now because I don't, want to power it here, and I guess we'll look at how to power it. The easiest way to generate large amounts of EU, well, there's a couple ways. First of all, we have our nuclear reactor, right? This provides 420 EU a tick, but it only does it as long as it has fuel. And the fuel lasts 6 hours per 4 rods, but I don't have that automated, and I don't really want to deal with setting up automation for that right now. So instead, we'll pull EU out of our gas turbine. To do that, we need a emitter. Specifically, the HV emitter will output 512 EU per tick. What that means is it'll output 512 EU in one packet every tick. We can go higher than that. The EV emitter, for example, is 2048 EU a tick. That's all in one packet. So if we take that one packet of 2048 EU, put it into our mass fab, it'll blow up. What we have to do then, if we take this, we can step it down in a transformer to 512 EU, but that'll be in 4 packets of it, and we can jam 2000 EU a tick into our mass fabricator without blowing the machine up. So that's a plan, assuming I can craft these. Yeah, I see no reason that'd be a problem. All right, so I'm going to do some crafting, make an EV transmitter and an extra, or an EV emitter and an extra transformer. So with our EV emitter, put it down anywhere here. The EU emitters only output one side, unlike the RF ones, which output all sides. There's also a strange quirk where apparently it's 4 EU, or rather it's 8 RF per EU, as opposed to the 4 it usually is. Was it always? Was it 8 in Industrial Craft a long time ago? I don't know. But anyways, next for cables. The intuitive thing is to use glass fiber, because this has always been like the high tier cable, at least as far as I know, in Industrial Craft. But if you look at it, it says 512 EU. It'll either melt or explode if well, it won't do it immediately because no current goes through it, but it will eventually melt or explode if I put it here. So I'm not going to do that. For your EV cable, this is weird. Trust me, your HV cable is actually an EV cable. If you look at it, it says, conductor energy limit 2048 EU. So your HV cable is not only better than your glass fiber cable in terms that it's a higher energy tier, right? The glass fiber cable has less loss. But when you're losing 0.8 out of 2000, that's what, like, I don't know, 0.4% or something. That's very low. Now, you technically don't even need any cables here because you can directly output off the EV emitter. Anyways, my point is, what was my point? Right, so my point was, if you want to transport EV power, you have to use the HV cable. Whereas for transporting HV power, glass fiber cable is better. Because I think you actually lose less transporting 4 packets of glass fiber than you do 1 packet of this, right? 0.025, yeah. So in that case, let's step it down to HV immediately with a transformer. Not quite, this might, I don't know which way the transformer goes. I guess I can place it down here and find out. Alright, so I want the many dots side on the many dots side. So I want to place it down without holding shift. I believe that's how it works. Go. Nope, I place it this way. Aha! Alright, so now this output is the energy output. It's going into our HV transformer. Man, this is confusing. And this HV transformer will now output 4, you see that 4 packets of 512 EU into our glass fiber cables here. With that, we can place our mass fabricator. Oh, excuse me, I have a bit of a cough today. And we can place our mass fabricator here, just so we're 100% sure this is a 512 EU machine, so it should not explode, and I will be very, very sad when it does. Sweet, it didn't explode. Next up, we have to power it with scrap. However, the recycler is not a 512 EU machine. You see it is 128. If I hook it up to power, it might not explode immediately because its power buffer is like 1 packet, but it will explode eventually. So I have to put a transformer upgrade in it to bring that up to the next tier. So you see, with a transformer upgrade in it, now it says max input 512 EU, which means we can now safely connect to it and it won't explode. Aha! Cool. Next step is we have to provide the compacting recycler with, well, I guess a redstone signal. but also a steady source of something to turn into scrap. My gut probably says that'll end up being cobble, but let me find something we can generate a lot of. Looking at our cobblestone generation options, we have the mining upgrade for transfer nodes, which can be combined with speed and stack upgrades, or the nuclear craft cobble generator. Although to make the good one, it's pretty expensive. It's not expensive; it's just a lot of microcrafting. This graphite is also non-trivial to make. Or IC2 has a cobble gen upgrade. I don't know what this even goes in, but 1 cobblestone per second means that we need a lot. We need 128 of them to keep up with a dense cobble generator. So I'm going to try the extra utilities one first. If that produces enough, it'll be the easiest to set up. It has a downside of we need more grid power. So I think it's time we broke out the dragon egg mill. We do have a dragon egg, right? Okay, good. I was hoping we didn't lose that or use it somewhere along the way. But the dragon egg mill produces 512, I think, grid power. It's a lot of grid power. So it should be able to handle all of our, more or less immediate grid power woes. There we go. Now we have, that produces 500. So like our resonator here, we can put speed upgrades in it now. Aha! Alright, let's see how fast this goes. So we need the pump upgrade first, then stack, and speed. And oh, it's getting redstone power, so it's turned off. Alright, second try. Now the redstone is only powering the recycler. Ow! Whatever, I'll deal with that later. Anyways, it looks like it is producing cobblestone faster than our compacting recycler is using it, which is good. And the recycler is not quite at 100% speed, but I think even at 100% we'll still be producing cobblestone faster than it consumes it, which is fine. Alright, next up then we just have to transfer the items over. That's the easy step. We get an easy one here. And this will turn on. So at a glance, it looks like our recycler is not producing. No, we're not transporting. Wait. Yeah, our recycler is not producing scrap fast enough to keep up with the mass fabricator. That's not terribly surprising. Normally, when you set up something like this, you have a lot of recyclers. So let's add more recyclers. I've upgraded to 5 recyclers, each one being fed by its own transfer node. Right now, they're still warming up because I let them cool down earlier, but they all produce scrap extracts out the bottom. Apparently, recyclers only let you extract out the bottom, and the mass fabricator apparently only lets you insert the side. What do I know? Anyways, we are nearing our first piece of UU matter. Aha! Once all the recyclers are up to speed, I think we'll be pretty close to 100% uptime on the mass fabricator. But I think we're good enough that I'm not concerned about it anymore. Anyways, now that we have UU matter, I guess I have to wait for enough of it to be crafted that the quest is happy, right? I need 8. Alright, it should be pretty quick. And notice actually, as our recyclers do get to 100%, it does seem like these transfer nodes were a little bit slower than they were consuming it. So I just added cobblestone generators in between each of these to supplement the cobblestone generation. Each of these is 16 a second, which is about the rate that this produces cobble, right? It's comparable. So it's enough to make up the difference. Anyways, we can see now, even with these only at like 70-ish% speed, we are just a hair short of 100% uptime on our mass fabricator. So by the time they get to 100% speed, we will both probably have 100% uptime and have all the UU matter we could use. The fact that each operation has to be done in a discrete number of ticks means that actually getting to 100% speed doubles the speed of your compacting reactor. Right? It goes from 2 ticks per operation to 1 tick per operation, which means that it's actually much faster at 100% than at 99%. And then as a result, we can see our scrap pile here is always full. So we are producing at, all the leftover energy that's not going into the recyclers is effectively being turned into, being jammed into the mass fabricator. Now, earlier I said that it is 8 RF per point of EU, and if we check the config. That's actually what it says. So industrial craft config balance, right? RF per EU 8, and that's a default value. However, I'm pretty sure because my RF to EU conversion is being done by advanced generators, it assumes a 4:1 ratio. If we look here, it says it's outputting 2048 EU a tick, but we're only generating sub 10,000 RF a tick, right? Which means that if it were 8:1, we'd have to generate 16,000 or more RF a tick to keep up. So, yeah, I think we're getting away with one here. Haha, take that, industrial craft. What that means that if our UU production ends up being too slow, we can just add a second emitter, a second transformer, and run basically instead of 4 packets per tick into the mass fabricator, we can run 8 packets per tick into it. But for now, I think this will be sufficient. I also forgot to lock the drawer. UU matter in hand, we can now move on to the next set of quests. So we can either go to space, which I guess is the right side of the quest line, or we can do the magic-y things. And let's start with the magic-y things. So we need to make large bloodstone bricks. We have the UU matter, have the HDP and star metal. I just have to gather weak blood shards. That requires a bound blade, I believe. This one. How do I make that? Binding reagent, diamond sword, hellfire forge with minimum 400 will. Got it. To generate demonic will, we kill mobs with our sentient sword while having the tartaric gems in our inventory. However, the petty gems that I have on me only go up to, I think it's like 256 will in them, whereas this recipe requires 400. So I'm going to have to upgrade our gem. But first I have to fill at least 1 gem so I can actually make the next tier tartaric gem. For now I'm just going to kill the mobs in the spawner here because that means I don't have to go anywhere to kill them. I also enchanted our sword with sweeping edge, sharpness, and unbreaking. And because all the levels get boosted by 1 by my cheaty necklace, we have really good buffs. Seems like the sweeping edge isn't working though. I'm not getting the sweep effect, alas. I take that back. Edges are definitely being swept. Anyways, I've filled up almost 2 gems, and then now we can upgrade them to the regular tier. And it looks like I misspoke earlier. The petty tier only holds 64, and the lesser tier holds 256. So we have to go one tier further. So that just means more mobs have to die. Many dead blazes later, we can upgrade once again. So it's gold, slates, a lesser gem, and diamonds. And now I just have to go kill blazes one more time to get this common gem above 400. With the soul of many hundreds of blazes in our gem, it now has the minimum to craft the binding reagent. Alright, so we use our arcane ashes again, go ashes, binding reagent, diamond sword. And after some lightning strikes, we should get our bound blade. So the bound blade links to our life essence network, and I think it drains it very slowly as we use it, but it also has a chance to drop those blood shards, weak blood shards on mob kills. So you shift right click to activate it, and then you just start killing things. I might want to enchant this with sharpness and sweeping edge as well. It doesn't seem to do particularly impressive damage. Oh, there we go. There it is already. 1 weak blood shard. Now, is there a way I can duplicate these in this pack? There isn't. Alright, so I'm going to kill stuff to get at least 4 of these. It also doesn't take durability damage by the looks of things. It only took a minute to get 10 of these. So that's that. Now to turn them into large bloodstone tiles, or bricks, tiles. We need UU matter and HDP pellets. So let's check our HDP. We have 1,000. More than enough for now, although I'm curious why I only have 1,000. What step here ran out? So this is empty. Oh, right, there's a manual step. The step to feeding it pumpkins or whatever I was giving it. Right, so I guess I'll give it more pumpkins. Alright, well, in any event, this is probably a sufficient number of of HDP pellets, but I'm just going to keep the system running because it is a little on the slow side. Anyways, we can put all this together. If I get some star metal as well on our runic altar. And in fact, this is a good chance to upgrade our mana spreader as well to the Gaia tier. There we go. Alright, so it's one of these, 1 star metal, 2 HDP, and 3 UU matter. There we go. Sweet. And we need 4 of these to upgrade our altar. So 1, 2, and I'll do the others off camera. So to upgrade our altar, these large bloodstone tiles go at the tops of these pillars, but that's not all. We still have to make runes to fill in the gaps. For now, I think I'll just make a set of blank runes to take their space, because I don't really need any functional runes, and it's easiest to craft blank ones. Currently, our altar should be tier 3. If we look, that's what the tooltip says. It only shows if you have the divination sigil. But if we swap out these with blank runes, it should, with any luck, become a tier 4 altar. Whoopsies, I need 4 more. Apparently multiplication is hard. Out of stone? Huh. Guess I've really put off some of the fundamentals like Cobbleworks and a functional AE system a lot this pack, haven't I? Alright, whatever. With all the blocks swapped out, this is now, if you look at that, a tier 4 altar. Nice. So, that, I guess, doesn't really unlock a quest, but I'm sure we'll be using that in the upcoming quests. The next quest is to make a celestial altar. That's really annoying because I've already gone past this point, and crafting the celestial altar means I have to actually downgrade my I'm just going to cheat this quest complete. There's, we're already past here, and doing this quest is a lot of work for no reason. Alright, so we get our coin for that. Nice. Next quest then is to make crystallized blood pile. This is by putting pixie dust into our blood altar, and I guess it's a crafting component for... Not quite sure what it is for. Corrupted starlight? These things are very frightening. I guess we're going to... I think the end goal is to make this corrupted star metal ingot, because this unlocks all the stuff in the next tier. Alright, well, let's make it then. So some pixie dust. Now it said 30,000 life essence, which I think is about how much my total altar holds. What do I see? Yeah, that's actually 100% of my altar's capacity, so I guess I can only craft 1 piece at a time. I made 1 just to satisfy the quest. Crafting these by hand is going to drive me insane, so we're going to have to come up with a better solution, because I'm going to have to poke mobs for 30 seconds, put a piece in, go back to poking mobs while it crafts. However, because we now have a tier 4 altar, we can start doing some of the better rituals. So let's look at those instead. To set up the rituals, we need the ritual diviner. Because we have a tier 4 altar, I believe we can get up to dusk, but let's start with the basic one. So we need these 4 elemental inscription tools, which all require dumping something in there. So it's magma cream, obsidian, lapis block, and gas tier. Sure. Do I have gas tiers? 7. Perfect. The first ritual diviner can only do some of the, I guess you call them lower tier rituals. Not that these aren't useful, but they specifically do not have the one that will generate LP for us. I'm just looking through these. Yeah, we've already gone in a full loop, and it doesn't have. I forget what it's named. Normally, it's the. I forgot this already too. I think I'm growing old. Right, it's the Well of Suffering. But I'm told in this pack, the Well of Suffering's been swapped out for a different, very similar in effect ritual. However, the new one instantly kills the mobs, much like the Dagger of Sacrifice here does, making it so that you can't do cheesy things like I've done in the past by putting regeneration on them, so that they never die. Oh well. The slates you make in the tier 4 altar, demonic slates, can be used then to make our ritual diviner. Nice. And now, as you scroll through this, you have a longer list of rituals. I wish there was a better way of scrolling through it than just shift clicking, because I don't actually know what this ritual is called. I might have to look that up. Alright, I'm at a total loss here. It is indeed true that the Well of Suffering is not in this list. I'm just going to click through it a few times so that you guys can see that I'm not actually insane. I mean, there's like a 50% chance it's actually here and I missed it. But according to what people have told me in my Discord, it's supposed to be replaced by something called the Drill of the Dead. And I don't see a ritual called that either. When I look it up online, it's from a mod called Sanguimancy, but that mod is also not in this pack. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to do. I mean, for automated blood generation. I know I've gone through the list at least once by now, right? So yeah, I'm sure you guys will tell me in the comments what I'm missing. But until then, I guess we'll just do something else and we'll come back to this tomorrow. I did mention earlier that I don't have a Cobbleworks yet, and that's causing me to periodically run out of very basic things like glass and stone. So let's build one of those really quickly to round today out. There used to be a time when your Cobbleworks was a great big facility in your base, and it, did great things. Nowadays, you just use these material stonework factories. So, first one makes cobblestone. This one I'll make it do grind mode, so that'll make gravel. This next one, I want grind twice. That'll make sand. This one I will furnace. That will do stone. Let's see, what else is there? There's, I think, grind 3 times to make, we'll see what it is, but it should make silicon. Yep. And I had one more planned. Let's see. Cobble, gravel, sand, smooth stone, silicon, and come on, Jimmy. Glass. Right. So that is grind, so make sand and then furnace. And that should do glass. And simple as that, in 6 machines, we've made a pretty much full-blown Cobbleworks. The compressed variants will just automatically be generated by the compacting drawers, and I'll hook the drawers up to the drawer controller that's hooked up to our storage scanner so that we can see all the items, directly in our storage scanner. And not that these machines need it or anything, but by putting energy and speed upgrades into them, they actually generate they run pretty quick. 90 RF a tick each, so even if they're all running, it's 6 by 90, 540 RF a tick. That's basically nothing. Alright, there we go. So this should supply us with a more than adequate amount of all these things to keep us going in the future. Now I'll never run out of stone or glass again. Woohoo! And on that note, let's wrap things up for the day. If you do know how I'm supposed to automate the collection of blood for blood magic, let me know either in the comments or join my Discord server, link in the description, to, tell me how incredibly wrong I am, because I'm sure I'm overlooking something simple. In any event, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.